Hey friends, welcome back. You want to talk about being specific? 169,275. That, my friends, was the price that my next client paid for their house. $169,275. Super specific. You want to know why? Because it was new construction, and they tend to be very specific. And what a cool new construction property it was. This was a very young airman in the Air Force that was buying her first property, and she bought a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,694 square foot house for less than $170,000. Brand new. And this was in 2018 to 2019. Talk about a good Christmas present. They got under contract on this property December 29th, 2018 and closed January 29th, 2019. The connection that was made here was awesome. Her mom was a realtor out on the West Coast. So she found me via our network and said, hey, this is my baby girl. I need somebody that's going to take care of her. I'm going to be involved if I need to be. And it was a fantastic transaction. Mama really didn't need to be involved. Her daughter had her stuff together, and obviously mom had taught her well. So we had a great time looking at properties and making decisions, figuring out what would work best for her, and ultimately she was sold on the idea of new construction. You want to know why? Because she already had the plan to keep it as a rental property. So she said, hey, while I'm here, I've got roommates that I know that can move in, and then if I leave, then I've got it, and it's going to be an investment property for me. And as long as I'm in the military, I'll be able to pick up more properties along the way. How many times have I said, this is just such a perfect trifecta. It's such a great plan if you're able to swing it. And she was, which was cool. So from the time that she closed on this property, she already had roommates lined up, ready to go. And here's the kicker. This is where life gets you guys, but she was already one step ahead, so it didn't really matter. Not long after she got in this property, she got accepted into a program to go from enlisted to being an officer. So that meant she had a timeline that she was going to be leaving very shortly after to head off to her training to become an officer. What a blessing that she was picked and chosen for such an elite program and being able to advance her career, all while building an investment. So for her, it didn't really matter if she was going to be there for 6 months or 6 years. She had a plan in place and it worked for her. And you want to know what? My friends, this lovely lady still owns that property, okay? She doesn't live there anymore. She's not even in South Carolina anymore. But she has kept it, and it is building such a great nest egg. Now, this house in this neighborhood would easily sell for probably close to $250,000. So from 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So in 5 years' time, she probably has made over $100,000 holding onto this property. Now, mind you, we've talked about this. Things got a little bit squirrely and really crazy during the COVID times. And the supply and demand shifted, and it really drove up pricing. So is that the normal average if everything was smooth sailing and life was just putting along like it normally does? Probably not. However, she would still probably have at least a good 40, 50, 75,000 upwards of built up into it. And I'm going to tell you there's a couple of things that go into this, right? One, it's just the true way the appreciation works, right? We're always going to keep rising a little bit at a time. But the more that you pay down to it, then that's going to like double and triple and get bigger so fast. So this is what I was saying, she's on top of it. We had these conversations about, hey, when you get this property and you look at the mortgage, if you can swing paying to the next $50 or $100, do that. If you can make one double payment a year, do that. Because you know what's going to happen is your interest payment is going to decrease significantly. And then you are going to have more of your money going towards the principal balance, which is going to pay off the loan quicker. So this is one of the cool tactics where a lot of times you go, okay, if I was going to try to swing getting a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage, what benefit do I really have, right? Sometimes you might get a little bit of a lower interest rate on the 15-year mortgage if you do it that way. But you're going to have a bigger payment, and it may not be as easy to bust up and, go up to that next $50 or $100 or a double payment once a year type of thing. Versus if you hold on to the 30-year loan, that's the lowest payment that you're going to have on the property overall. Even if the interest rate's a smidge higher, you can combat that by making these additional payments, by increasing your amount going to your principal a little bit at a time. Because your interest payment is based off of your principal, right? They take your principal amount and multiply it by your interest, and that is how you get the amount that's due. So if you keep knocking down that principal amount, then it's going to increase greatly. But either way, let's say none of that's in play, and you just simply pay the payment. That's due every single month. This is still a fantastic way to build generational wealth. To hold a property, to let it do its thing, it's going to naturally appreciate a little bit. You're going to naturally pay down the mortgage, and you are creating a nest egg that you don't even see, that is not in your hands. Remember how we talked about that before? It's so important to have places where money is tucked away, safe and sound, that we cannot liquidate easily. Now, can we sell a property easily? Sure, but this is like a 30 to 45, 60-day plan, right? That's as quick as you're getting the money out of that. Even if you did a refi or you pulled equity out, it's not going to happen today. It's not money sitting in your savings account that you can transfer over and just spend today because you found something on sale and you really want to get it, right? So this is a fantastic way to have a savings plan tucked away, building up for you, and it's right in plain sight, and you don't even know it. So I would encourage you, if you might be a young military person and you've got your finances in order and you really don't want to rent and you want to be able to purchase a property, let's have a conversation and see what's reasonable for you, right? Everybody's dreams, desires, plans can be different, but if this sounds like you, if this sounds like something you would like to accomplish, to buy a property and hold on to it, or you already have roommates and why not come together and pay towards a mortgage instead, let's see how we can make that work for you. Because this is an excellent plan as long as you have the right strategy in mind and the right people involved, okay? So, give me a call. Let's talk about you purchasing your next property in a military community while you're in the military and building your own generational wealth. And, hello, after 20 years in service and you retire at 40, 45 years old, you have instant income coming in. And if you started young, can you imagine the capabilities that you have? Let's say you wanted to just sell it and liquidate it and have a nest egg to start off after retirement. You could do that. Let's say you just need enough to go to supplement your income. If you had maybe 2, 3, 4 properties that you have purchased along the time that you were in the military or more, that's so feasible. You can be setting yourself up for success very easily, a little bit at a time, and not even know it. So let's talk about some of these tactics, because I love getting into this conversation and seeing how it all can play out. And I'm a scenario type of gal. I really like going through, like, if we did this scenario, what does it look like? What does this scenario look like? What would our options be? Can we be flexible? Is there something that we're stuck doing for X amount of time, right? I love hashing all of that out. So give me a call so that I can set you up the same way that I got to set this young airman up. And she is now extremely successful with a rental investment property in Sumter, South Carolina.